Get your hands off.
You're taking me somewhere to kill me.
No, I'm taking you someplace to talk.
Well, I don't like to talk.
But you do like to lie, which you just did. Because we both know you love to talk. Talky.
How long have you been here?
I don't know, it's hard to say. You know, time passes differently here in the TVA.
What does that mean?
You'll catch up.
Glorious. You'd better be ready. Come on. What did you expect?
And speaking of fan-favorite characters, Loki. The god of mischief will step out of his brother's shadow and into his own series on Disney Plus in May of next year. The great Tom Hiddleston returns as Loki and is joined in the series by Owen Wilson, Gugu Mbatha-Raw, Sophia DiMartino, Mumni Mosaku, and Richard E. Grant. As with our other shows coming to Disney Plus, we want to try something a little different. Explore a new genre for us at Marvel Studios. So we've put Loki in the center of his own crime thriller. If that sounds a little unusual or confusing, don't worry, Loki is just as confused.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. This is going to be my new Marvel Loki trailer for the Avengers Endgame spin-off series on Disney+. There's so many Easter eggs in this. Obviously, it ties in with Thor 4, Love and Thunder, and a bunch of other MCU movies, so I'll explain what's going on. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the episodes. I will be doing videos for all the episodes. It will be premiering in May after the Black Widow movie hits theaters. But just getting into the Easter eggs, the series begins with that scene of Avengers Endgame when Iron Man, Thor, the Avengers lose the Tesseract and the Space Stone because Hulk, no like Stairs. Stairs are probably going to be the villain of the next Hulk movie when Marvel gets around to working their problems out with Universal and they can make another Hulk movie. But then Loki manages to snag the Tesseract and escape, so the main version of Loki is still dead after Avengers Endgame. They're not walking that back. He still sacrificed himself, gained some redemption, trying to stop Thanos from killing Thor and stealing the Space Stone. This Loki is now an alternate reality Loki who never experienced the events of Thor the Dark World, Thor Ragnarok, or Avengers Infinity War. So all that character development has not happened for him yet. I love this first scene, though, where he wakes up at the end of the Space Stone portal he uses to escape. And I know the visual effect makes it look like he's traveling across the universe. Really, he's just traveling across the Earth because, as you may have guessed, this is literally and metaphorically meant to be a scene referencing the Iron Man scene of him escaping the cave in Iron Man 1. He wakes up half buried in the sand after escaping from a really dangerous situation. It's just the twist is that it's a villain escaping from the heroes. It seems like based on the clothing of the people that find Loki buried in the sand, this is Mongolia and he's waking up in the Gobi Desert in China. But because Loki is an anti-hero during the series, that means that the villains he's facing have to be even worse. And I'll get into that because I believe they're going to get super meta with this because the showrunner is actually one of the former writers of Rick and Morty. So it's a very Rick and Morty style alternate reality time travel style series. Even though technically Rick and Morty is not a time travel show, they did do time travel during Rick and Morty season 4. So they kind of actually opened that door. Also a lot of big Doctor Who Easter eggs in this too because of the Time Variance Authority that I'll talk about because that's basically where we go to right after this. But then we jump to the interior of the Time Variance Authority base where Loki has that voiceover thinking they're taking him somewhere to kill him. Notice the amazing architecture. The Time Variance Authority are kind of like the Time Cops or the Time Lords of the Marvel Universe if you want to make Doctor Who references. They police all the different timelines, not just any one single timeline. So there are a bunch of main branch realities, alternate timelines. When a time travel villain or a multiverse villain in the Marvel Universe starts messing with the different branch timelines that they've sanctioned, they step in to arrest them. Loki popped on their radar when he created the new branch reality with the Infinity Stone. I know this raises lots of questions about Kang the Conqueror in the MCU because he's the biggest Marvel time travel villain and he's also, from the distant future, he's also the main villain of Ant-Man 3 Quantumania. They finally confirmed the title and confirmed that this actor is playing Kang the Conqueror during that. So some of the Loki series will also probably help set up Ant-Man 3 in addition to Thor 4 Love and Thunder, because Loki will show up during Thor 4 after the events of this series, so I'll talk about the Thor Easter eggs as we go along through the footage. Then we finally get our first scene with Owen Wilson, who seems like he's playing Loki's main handler at the Time Variance Authority during the series. This scene of the armored men then entering the tent is just another patrol of Time Variance Authority soldiers. This is what their armor looks like. This scene of the other TVA soldier taking his helmet off, looking like he's getting killed by this hooded figure that's burning the lamp in the field, actually seems like it's supposed to be female Loki, played by this actress. We get a better look at her later in the trailer, so I'll talk about that in a second too. But the reason why I think this is female Loki is because right after she takes out this guard, seemingly kills him, they dip to black and then transition up of a scene of Loki looking at himself in this many-faceted mirror because she's a different aspect of Loki from the multiverse. And I believe this mirror is meant to foreshadow the other versions of Loki that we're supposed to see during the series. In addition to the female version of Loki, I believe there's supposed to be a kid version of Loki from the comics, and then Richard E. Grant is rumored to be playing what they're describing as classic Loki. Like an even more evil version of Loki that feels more like the OG Loki from Walt Simonson's classic Thor comics. Then he says one of his trademark phrases, glorious, which is a nice callback to the first Avengers movie. I am burdened with glorious purpose. Then they take him to face judgment in front of this tribunal. Notice the masks. This is a nice Easter egg, I think, for Kang the Conqueror that has many different aspects from different parts of the timeline, as well as the 3 different faces of the living tribunal, which was actually a character for a hot minute in Avengers Infinity War and Endgame. It looks like Gugu Mbatha-Raw is playing the administrator passing his sentence. I'm not sure if she's playing a pre-existing Marvel character or if they made up a new one for her. The TVA as an organization mostly shows up in the Fantastic Four comics, in the Thor comics, but they don't show up a lot, and there are not that many big characters within that organization, so she might just be somebody new that they created for the show. Also, just a reminder, they announced that they're developing the rebooted MCU Fantastic Four movie with the Spider-Man Far From Home director, where really he directed all the MCU Spider-Man films, John Watts. Kang the Conqueror is a big Avengers villain, but also a big Fantastic Four Easter egg because his real identity is Nathaniel Richards, the descendant of Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic of the Fantastic Four. So don't be surprised if we see a whole bunch of Fantastic Four Easter eggs during the Loki series as well. Then Owen Wilson shows Loki his rap sheet, pretty much all of his crimes. This is basically just footage that they copy and pasted from the first Avengers movie. Then this TVA assault seems like it's happening inside a Roxxon version of Walmart, like it says Rox Cart, and we see it show up later in the trailer. I'm not sure when this is, but based on the clothing, it seems like it's relatively close to present day. The glowing panels that they're all running out of seem like the TVA's version of time travel portals. Then you see someone, probably the villain of the series or one of the villains of the series, watching it all go down on futuristic banks of monitors. Then there's another scene of Loki dropping into an elevator, helping inspect what seems like some sort of portal that another one of the villains has used to escape. I don't know who this girl Owen Wilson is talking to in what seems like this church, but a lot of you have asked if this aspect of the devil in the stained glass window behind them is supposed to be Mephisto. I do think that it is a Mephisto Easter egg, but then we see Gugu Mbatha-Raw's character looking like she's getting ready to throw down with Loki back around his sentencing. He tosses his daggers, another trademark move, last time seen during Thor Ragnarok. Then we see what seems like the burning and broken remnants of planet Earth and the moon. The series is supposed to take place on Earth during different time periods and alternate realities. The series is also supposed to be a crime thriller, so it sounds like Loki is supposed to track down the villain or multiple villains, and whatever they're doing probably leads to this total destruction of the Earth and the moon here. And because this female version of Loki is sitting here in the rubble of this post-apocalyptic future, she might be one of the main villains of the series perpetrating this grand plot. Then there's another different scene of Loki waking up in another time period in an alternate Earth. Probably one of the other biggest Easter eggs in the trailer here is the rubble of the Avengers Tower, and it looks like the Avengers Tower circa Avengers Age of Ultron, the newer design. So whatever time point he jumps to in this scene, it's well after the events of those movies. This is the D.B. Cooper scene of Loki people have been talking about. Loki literally becomes the D.B. Cooper of the MCU. He stole a bunch of money, then boarded an airplane to escape. The airplane eventually went down, but his body and the money that he stole were never found. To this day, there's still many theories about what happened to him. So Thor and Heimdall plucking him out midair using the Bifrost is a clever reference to the D.B. Cooper theories. Then there's a big montage of a couple different scenes, him fighting all these people in this modern day version of Roxanne Walmart, him dancing with these people, then him running through this post-apocalyptic future Earth. Then his voiceover calling for Thor and Heimdall to get the Bifrost ready. Brother, I hope you're ready. It's hard to tell who these people are that he's fighting. There's a makeshift throne behind him here, and this scene with the green room that he's also in seems like it's coming from a completely different episode somewhere else in the series. Like this might have something to do with the other, more evil version of Loki, because it looks like there's this bar behind him, some sort of crazy palace. Then obviously there's the President Loki Easter egg. Vote Loki! Obviously we just had a big election in real life, so I'm not surprised that they went for this Easter egg. It's right out of the recent comics. He's even wearing the exact same outfit. And I love the way that he's wearing those funny-looking fake horns. They kind of did that during the WandaVision series, with them wearing Halloween costume versions of their classic comic book costumes. My other favorite Easter egg from this scene too in the background is the Polybius arcade machine in the background. If you don't know about the legend of Polybius, it's an urban legend that emerged in the early 2000s concerning a fictitious 1980s arcade game. But like I said, it seems like Loki is coming off as both the hero and the villain of the series, the other versions of Loki being the villains. I'm assuming there's going to be a Chris Hemsworth Thor cameo scene to bridge to Thor 4 Love and Thunder, maybe also Doctor Strange Easter egg and crossover for Doctor Strange 2, and Ant-Man 3 for Kang the Conqueror. And because it's a Thor-based series, expect other characters from the Thor movies to cameo, maybe even Idris Elba's Heimdall, maybe Sif, because she's also coming back for Thor 4 as well. Either way, I can't wait to see the series. Obviously, I'll be doing episode videos for everything. There are so many other Marvel trailers from the weekend for all the Disney Plus series and announcements about the movies, so I will do all those videos as soon as possible. As long as you have alerts enabled for my channel, you should see all those when I post them. But just a big reminder that the next big Marvel series is going to be WandaVision. Those episodes will start January 15th, so all that'll start spinning up after the Mandalorian Season 2 finale. My video for that will post next Friday just like normal. You guys have no idea, 2021 is going to be so much better than 2020. While you wait for everything, click here for my brand new Mandalorian Season 2 Episode 7 video, and click here for all my other Marvel trailers and Star Wars trailers from that big Disney Investor Day. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone stay safe. This is The Way.